Hey traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at Netflix. This is a look back. I don't do this often, but every once in a while, if I find a good tool, I want to share it. So this is going to sound like a commercial. The tool is from friends of mine now. I met them last year. So Market Structure Edge. The hardest thing about this tool for me is the name. Me. That's a personal problem. So English is my third language, so it's tongue-tied for me for some reason. Anyway, so if you're like me, you don't know much about Wall Street. That's okay because now there are tools like this one that kind of demystify it. So my first hurdle years ago was options, and it was kind of like this mystery cloud. Oh my God, options, don't touch them. Well, then I educated myself, and now it's plain simple English, and it was all bunk. Don't worry about it. So this is demystifying the action. Like what kind of money is doing all this action in Wall Street? Who's buying what? What groups of big pools of type of traders are out there, and how much love is in the stock, like the sentiment thing. So this is exactly what it is. If I didn't have a sentiment tool, and I was doing a presentation, and Tim, one of the principals there, was on the same presentation as me just before me, and I was sitting in the green room basically waiting for it. Boom, like, wait, I need this. So I got in touch, and I get to use it. I don't get paid by them, but I think it's a pretty good tool, and somebody that people need to look at it. So first of all, it gives you the overall sentiment of the market. So they quantify it. You can read about how they do it, and it gives you whatever it is. It just gives you a tangible gauge, like a trend. You know if it's headed in the right way with price against price. And it was like a dark hole, and now it's demystified. I have like an in. All right, so how do I use it for trading? I'm going to share one instance, and I'll show you it's Netflix. So I was looking to remember the March correction, March 5th into the 8th. The Nasdaq got beat up really badly, right? And it bottomed on the 8th, and then it sprang back up. I wanted to catch a falling knife, and I was hesitant. I had bounce levels, and the way I catch falling knives, I like to sell risk into fear. So then it bounced, and I was like, okay, it's going to face resistance, and it did, and then it double bounced. And that's when I went and I said, okay, it's time to pull the trigger. By the time I actually entered and shared the trade, it was the 29th. And I shared it in the table to the members. But first, I went to my tool and wanted to check it out. So I go to the profiler, kind of like hey, let's call up the advisor and see what they say about how much love there is in the stock before I jump in and I'm late. So and I know from past dealings with Netflix that I like to buy it at ones and sell it at tens. What does that mean? 1 is it has no love. 10, it has too much love. That doesn't mean shorted at 10. It just means that this works out best. Proof is the active trading returns. If I did that, I got 42% for that period of time from 7/1 last year. I avoided to go back further because there was the junk from the pandemic. And then 25 for the S&P for the same period of time. And if you just held Netflix, you were almost flat. So if I looked at it visually, which is pretty nice, I go back 6 months to see. All right, so let me find it. So 383 here, right here. So Netflix was falling out of bed. It bottomed on 3/9, but the sentiment kept on falling because that's what the media does. It freaks the freak out of everybody. So then I know now I have a 1. That's right here. It's a 1 situation, and that was 312. I didn't enter at 312. I was looking for other things that I usually use to trade. And then by the time I finally said, okay, it's time to go Netflix, it was already 329. So I came back here. I was like, wait, I didn't miss it because it's still at 5 and I have room until 10. So had this already been to 10, I would have said, you know what? I missed it. I'll catch it on the next bounce, maybe. So I don't enter trades when I see 10s. That's the easiest way to use this. And if I'm at 1 and I decide to go long, that's just confirmation, most often than not, that there's not enough love. There are other factors like short volume, percent, that just gives you yet another layer of availability, like how much of this stuff is available. And it's a little bit more complicated than to say, okay, this means that and this means go. But if you spend not a lot of time, it's a very simple tool. There are not a lot of buttons. Look at it. It's all preset. And it is sometimes I get no results and I walk away and say, okay, I tried and I can't do anything with it, but I'll try again some other time. But when it works like this, it works well. How well? Let me show you. So this was the actual trade that I shared, a table. And usually when I share a trade, I share 4 of them. And in this case, 329, you can see the date. And the price was at 511. So usually I share 2 different types of trades. Trades that you buy something to win, trades where you sell into somebody else's fear to win. So those are my favorite. And that day I said base trade, my choice was this one, sell a put spread, where it's called a bull put spread, credit put spread, whatever. Collected $1 and it played out perfectly. So 25% yield roughly. If somebody was somebody had that wanted to own shares could have sold puts. They made $1,000 almost for one contract sold. Somebody that has the guts to do this, not me, paid $2,000 for one call, turned it into $3,600 just a few days later on April 6th. So that was a big win, but not my choice. See, not for me. And somebody that wanted to be moderate, debit call spread, turned $3 into almost $520 on the same day here. So the trade setup, I had confidence with it because A, I've done my homework on the actual charts and on the fundamentals. And then before I go ahead with that, I go to my trusty advisor to see if there's anything I need to worry about here. And in this case, it said, nope, in fact, you're like halfway through the cycle that worked best since last July. So there you go. If you're looking for a sentiment tool that quantifies things, read their pages here as to like what goes behind the stuff, because it's so simple, but I have to read it. Like when I get an email from them, I read it just to see if I'm learning something new about what big money does around what time of month. Like monthly expiration just passed. There's some few things I didn't know. Now I know, and that's how you learn. Anyway, commercial, right? Yep, but it's a useful tool. Try it out. Nick signing out.